I just got done watching All of Us Strangers, which came out 2023. That stars Andrew Scott, I don't believe his name is, and Paul Mescal. Um, so this movie got like on my radar. It got like a lot of like early buzz from some film festival. I can't remember which at the top of my head. And after watching After Sun last year, or in 2022, I should say, which completely devastated me, and I thought like it was my favorite movie of the year. Uh, Paul Mescal just instantly became on my radar, and rightfully so. I think like he does a phenomenal job in this. I actually prefer his performance over like the main lead of Andrew Scott, um, but not like it's not like night and day difference. It's just like one slightly elevated, just slightly above the other one. Um, this movie didn't hit me nearly as hard as After Sun did, and I think like a lot of it is just based off of like my presumptions of like what the movie was about. Um, I thought this was gonna be like a lot more grounded of a movie, and like After Sun, like After Sun almost feels like you're watching like someone's like home videotapes, and it's a very grounded and like slice of life movie. This doesn't feel like that like at all. Like a lot of it does feel like that, but like there's almost like this like surreal element going on, and I never like really like settled with that like throughout the movie. Like I understood like what it was trying to do and everything, which I'll talk about soon in more spoiler-esque section, but it never like really clicked with me like in the way that I think it clicked with like a lot of people. Um, Before I jump into spoilers, uh, I'll just say like overall I could probably rate the movie like a 3.5. Uh, I should also note too that I'm just recovering from like feeling a little under the weather. So like if I was more cognizant and everything and like feeling better, I might like view the film more favorably. I just like want to like notate that um, because I do think like a lot like external factors can like come into how you perceive a movie and everything. You know, if like you have a bad viewing experience or something, and don't get me wrong, like the viewing experience was good and everything. It just I don't think like cognitively I didn't pursue the whole movie, and I don't know. I try to be objective like regardless of any of that, but I just want to put that caveat in there. Um, Anyways, on to spoilers. So I think that a lot of those reasons like the movies like doesn't really work out for me is like I've never like experienced like the type of grief that like the characters in this movie have experienced. Um, Mainly, you know, he loses his both his parents at the age of 12. Like the closest like relative like I've lost is my grandfather, and like only one of my four grandparents. You know, like most people my age have like all their grandparents are gone at this point, or majority of them. And don't get me wrong, like I was close to my grandfather, but like not to the extent of like a parent or anything. Um, it's kind of weird too, because like uh, my mom's dog passed away, and I think like I felt like probably about like not like nearly as much emotional connection to that dog, but like very close, just because of how often I was around that dog as opposed to like around my grandfather. Like, you know, he lives a state away, and you know, his was like kind of like a slow uh, sickness, because he had cancer, and like, you know, it just kind of it's one of those things like where we knew it was coming, and it kind of got like uh, bad like quicker at the end, and like we you know, everyone like knew it was just a matter of time, so I think we all cope with it like while he's still alive, and like, you know, all that stuff. Whereas, you know, my mom's dog uh, basically like was like in my room like every day, you know, growing up, and like when I like lived with my parents and everything, and even then like when I go back, like that dog was like attached to my hip, like would not like leave me. Like So I don't know. I don't know how. It's kind of like a weird tangent. Anyways, so those are probably my two biggest experiences with grief. Anyways, and I think like that's like a lot of the reasons like this doesn't work with me because like in both those situations like I did get to say goodbye and everything. Um, like obviously like you still like want to spend more time with you know those people and those animals and everything, but like it's not the same as you know someone being like randomly taken away from your life and everything. Um, it's also interesting too because in the movie you kind of find out that like this whole relationship that he like fabricated like in his mind with this with Paul Mescal's character. I think his name's Harry in the film. Um, it was completely fabricated like in his mind, and that basically like, after he turned him down, like on his like first uh, move towards him, like he's having like a really bad night, and like that bad night ended up turning into like a really bad night, and like he ended up like it's not like really made explicitly clear if he killed himself, but it seems more likely that he just like overdosed or something like that, um, or had some sort of uh, or medical condition because of the drugs he was on, which I guess would still technically be an overdose, but so it's like it's weird because like he's like saying goodbye to someone like he never like really had like a relationship with, and like maybe he's just like thinking like the things that could have been, but you know I think that's like a pretty common thing of us meeting people that we have like this almost like a chemistry to, and like imagine like what could have been in a way, um, and that aspect kind of resonated with more than like him saying goodbye to his dead parents, and it's like the other thing is like there's this like weird scene like where he goes like to the house that he grew up in, and then the next morning he's like in like the bed, and I'm just like, is it implying that like these people who like live in the house currently are acting like his parents are? Because like I just like think like if they do that like the movie doesn't work, but also like is all this like conversation is taking place like in his head, or which I think that is the case, and he's just like the whole thing's just about him like having these conversations like in his head that like he couldn't have like when he needed to have them, you know. Um, it's just like like when it first happens though, like, it feels like very surreal, which is like why I bring that up earlier, because like you know he's meeting his parents and his dad keeps calling him son, but like like you know like just like looking at them you're like maybe like they're about the same age, but like and you're like sitting there thinking of him as like well maybe like the dad like aged well and he didn't age as well because of stress, and you know some people have kids like you know 15, 16 years old, so maybe it's like a case like that, but even then like you're trying to do some mental gymnastics, and like I think if it would have been like more direct like with it, and like maybe I wouldn't have had like those like false expectations, I guess. I don't know. I, it's crazy because like I don't I still think this movie is like a good movie. It's just like not a movie for me. And I know there's an audience out there that's gonna like absolutely love this movie. I think it's like one of the best movies ever. It just again it's not me. It does make me very excited to see everything that Paul Mescal does because again I think he's like wonderful in this, and you know two very strong acting performances. Um, I mean, like I said, he's already on my radar, but now it's like I will watch everything this guy's in until you know he faults me. But I just don't see that happening. I do know he's gonna be in Gladiator 2, which I have like zero hopes for. Um, but you know, it's like Taika Waititi said when he talking about Thor. It's like one for you know them and one for me. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do to pay the bills, and then you can do like you know like what you want to do as a hobby and your passion. So I don't know. like I said earlier, I give this movie a 3.5. You know, I feel like this movie I'm gonna think upon. You know, maybe that ratings can like rise over time. Um, and like I said earlier, I am like not feeling the best. So like maybe like if I was like in a better cognitive state and like more coherent, then like I probably would rate this like a little bit higher. But that's like it's hard to say, you know. Anyways, so yeah, like I said earlier too, I have a lot of movies coming up like on my to watch list. I'm sorry, as I said like in my Maestro review, I have like a lot of movies coming up on my to watch list in preparation for the Oscars, which are in March. I'm not sure if I want to do like a video before the Oscars comes out, but like the past few years I've like done that, like where I watch like the Power Six categories and like watch the Oscars. I'm just like annoyed at like not only at like who wins like the nomination, like the awards themselves at the Oscars, but like then like watching movies like after some that don't even get like recognized by the Oscars. So I kind of like want to stay away from the Oscars at this point, but at the same time, it's just like stay away from something that like I've gotten so much joy from like over the past years, and like I think is at least partly attributed to like me getting into becoming a cinephile and all that stuff. Anyways, yeah. Like, comment, subscribe, all that nonsense. If you have any suggestions of movies to watch, I do have like a pretty extensive like backlist now. So, but I will get to it if you recommend it. Anyways, bye. So, I want to do a follow up on my All of Us Strangers review, because I don't think I gave like the movie like the respect that it deserves. I was coming off of like being ill, and that combined with like how I interpreted like the trailer and hearsay about the film, and like just like the synopsis, I think that both those things detracted like a lot from this film, because this is quite a few days after like that. I record like the first part of this, but I've thought about this movie like a lot, just like a lot of like namely like the dialogue between Paul Mescal and Andrew Scott, Harry, and I can't think of the other guy's name for whatever reason. Like there's a line like where Andrew's character goes, "It's not a big deal. It happened a long time ago," and Harry replies, "Yeah, I don't think that really matters." And like, I mean, like it's stuff like that like elevates this film to like a different level. I initially gave this film like a 3.5, I think, in my first review. But I think I definitely raised it up to a 4, maybe 4.5. I still don't like how they did the scenes with his parents. Like the only thing I can think of, based on like what I've watched in the film, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, is that like he's writing a play about him talking to his parents, and he's like either visualizing these scenes happening in his head, or he's like replaying his old memories to like pull that like for the story that he's writing. And I still don't think it's like portrayed very well, and it, like definitely like the first instance it happens, it's very it kind of takes you like out of the film, because like you're like, what's going on here, like this doesn't seem right. It's got that like weird uncanny valley feel to it, because like I said, like Andrew Scott, like at most he's like a couple years younger than his parents. At worst he's like, you know, 15 years older. So it's weird the first time it happens. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that real quick. I've been kind of like slacking like on watching like films recently, mainly just because the timing doesn't like really work out. Now that it's getting like darker later, I don't like to watch movies like when it's like light outside because like the light comes into the windows and like it kind of messes up like the feel of immersing yourself in the movie. In my opinion, I don't have like the perfect studio setup or anything like that for watching movies, so I had to kind of work with what I have. And then so like a lot of times like you know, it gets dark out. Like I think it's like 6:30 and it's almost dark out. Shortly after, like 8:39 ish, my buddy will like want to play games at night. So, and then I can't stay up as late after he goes to bed anymore either. So it's just like I haven't like really had like that sweet spot to watch movies anymore. It's like either ditch him or kind of you know, deal with the daylight, and it's just another one's like really ideal. That being said, I am about to go sit down and watch another movie. That's why I wanted to record this before I watch that, so I could like kind of clear my thought space and everything. But I'll be watching The Iron Claw. I really want to watch American Fiction as well, so I'll probably try to watch that tomorrow or the next day. I don't know when exactly, but that's on my list. And still like all the other Oscar movies that like I haven't reviewed yet, they'll be on my list soon, if I haven't seen them already, which I have seen quite a few, and I'm not going to re-review them since I watched them last year, and this channel started this year. So, anyways, yeah, expect The Iron Claw coming up, expect American Fiction coming up, Naiad, Rustin, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1, They Clone Tyrone. I think that's the next few movies on my list. There was a recent Netflix movie I really want to watch too, but I might put that off just because of Oscar season. But anyways, I might also do a movie just based off of you know, my top 10, recanting that, which is I have a list on Letterboxd of all the films I've seen in 2023 ranked and everything for me, and then on top of that I have I might sit there and have like an episode about the Oscars in particular. But again, I have mixed feelings in the Oscars, so I don't expect that to go over too well. Anyways, bye.